The last 2 weeks have been pretty difficult for not just gold traders, but everyone else in general. But if you understand the following 3 events which are going to happen in the next few days, then your chances are going to be way higher to make money in the market. The first news is that finally Hamas released 3 hostages. Israel's military said that 3 hostages have been released by Hamas and returned to Israel territory. Now, probably this was one of the longest awaited hostage and prisoner exchange in the last few decades. Without taking any sides, I think releasing hostages and returning them back to their families safely is something that we should celebrate. And the question is, will the gold traders are going to think the same way? Because if you look at gold as a hedging asset, now this is one of the perfect news, which is why gold traders wouldn't want to hold gold to hedge, because this could be the end of this long and ongoing bloody war. And if this speculation is right, I'm going to show you in a minute how this could affect gold prices. The second one is, of course, Donald Trump. Now on Monday, Donald Trump is going to make a historical comeback as he is sworn in for the second term of presidency in the United States of America. And the reason why it's important, because he promised already so many things before he even got into office. And you can see just 1 day before his inauguration, the hostages had been released already by Hamas. Do you think there's a correlation between the two? Let me know in a comment. And the third event is going to be the fundamental and the earnings calendar this week, which we're going to look into. The first thing every gold trader must look at are yields. You can see that the US 10-year Treasury yield on the global yield chart already started to pull back from 4.7% down to 4.6%, which is a 10 basis point drop. Now, yields have been on the rise since September, as well as gold prices, more or less, but in the last few weeks, yields and gold prices were moving into the same direction, which is north. Global yields are a representation of risk premium, meaning that how much money investors want for their money. The higher the yields, investors want more risk premium for their money, because essentially bonds are IOUs, meaning the government is promising to pay back the initial amount of the bond plus interest. And the higher the yields are, the more money investors want. So with the release of the hostages and the inauguration of Donald Trump, there's some certainties coming back into the markets, and this could be the beginning of a new phase when traders are no longer needing gold as a hedging asset. And you can see on the 1-hour gold chart that price already started to go down a little bit, breaking the last trend line. But it doesn't mean too much, because you can see that the previous trend line or previous channel have been broken. And what happened here is that gold bounced back and gold rallied another 500 pips. So this is why you should not trust trend lines too much. Use it as a guide, but don't place your trading strategy purely on trend lines, on support and resistance, because that is not going to end well. Wonderful tools, but truth to be told, you need to observe news, you need to observe financial data, and with the combination of these can be powerful tools. So we see that one trend line has already been broken, but we have the previous resistance level now became a support. Is it going to hold? I'm going to tell you what to do. At market open on Sunday, what you need to observe is to see how the yields are going to react. If the yields start to decrease, we have good chances that traders are going to ditch gold, because they're going to rush into risk assets such as Bitcoin and indices and other risky assets. So what you need to observe is to see that how price is going to react to this price level at around 2700, and also where are the weekly and daily pivots are going to be placed. If price remains below the new weekly and daily pivot, then it's a clear sell sign. If price remains below 2700, if price breaks this support level, then everything is showing to the direction that gold is going to continue to sell off. So should you free confirmations, but you also need to monitor the news in order to make sure that everything is going into the perfect direction. And for the gold bulls, this could be a bull flag. I'm showing you both sides of the story. Traders have two biases, buys and sells. The buy bias is also looking good, because you can see that this could be a wonderful bull flag, which means that price could easily bounce back off from the previous support level, which was a resistance earlier, and this could break the bull flag channel and price could continue to 27.40 or even higher. But if bears are right and if price breaks the support level, stays below the daily and the weekly pivot and below 2700, then prices most likely continue down all the way to 2600. But to be fully transparent, I showed you wins before and I showed you losses in the past 2 weeks. And to keep up this good practice, now I'm showing you the positions currently I have. So I've been selling gold for the last 2 weeks and I incurred about £30,000 loss, which is about 10% of my account. Let's make it 12%. But finally, things changed around and gold price started to drop. So I managed to recover about 75% of the losses, and also I have some running positions. And if things go well and the bearish bias remains and the market continues to sell off, then I could make even more profit and finally close the month in profit. So you can see that I have quite a few positions short in gold and also long on Nasdaq, and this is the next position I'm going to show you. So Nasdaq for me is a clear buy, and if I just go into higher time frame on the 4 hour, you know that currently there is earnings season happening right now, and the market is in a little bit of risk on mode. And if everything goes well in the Middle East and traders and investors calm down, what they're going to do is going to take out all the money from the hedging assets and move it into risk on assets such as Bitcoin, crypto, and the good old equities. And starting with the technicals on Nasdaq, you can see that we have this beautiful bull flag pattern, and the last few positions have been phenomenal on Nasdaq because we managed to catch about 700 pips on the sell and also forecasted the reversal from the bottom of the bull flag channel. And you can see that the daily and the weekly pivot provided an excellent support, and now price broke out from this bull flag pattern. It hasn't broken the previous high, but chances are good that price is going to continue even higher. We all know that Trump is good for the markets and the dollar, and if everything goes well in the Middle East, then I'm fully bullish on Nasdaq. So what you need to observe on Nasdaq is this support level, if it's going to break or not. And we have this zone right here between the upper trend line of the bull flag and the resistance from the previous high. That goes from 21,185 all the way to about 21,600. So it's a pretty big range, but I say that I'm going to enter into more buy positions if price remains bullish. And my forecast on Nasdaq, which reflects all the positions I have in Nasdaq, are longs. So the bias remains bullish on Nasdaq because of the earnings season and because of the Trump inauguration, because Trump is good for markets. Especially that he already mentioned that he wants to bring back TikTok into the United States, which is, I think, the market is going to welcome. So this is the position on Nasdaq, which I might going to take depending on the market open, but maybe I'm going to wait for price to come down a little bit to retest the top trend line of the bull flag pattern, and I'm going to look for entry at 21,334, and the take profit level is going to be around, well, the first one is obviously 22,000 because that is a psychological number, and anything above is a bonus. The stop loss, depending on where the weekly and the daily pivots are going to be placed, I'm going to place the stop loss just below the weekly and the daily pivot. Most likely the new pivots are going to be somewhere around 21,300. So just to summarize, I'm bullish on Nasdaq for various reasons I just explained to you. And now it's time to like the video and make sure you hit the follow button to enable notifications when I enter into a trade or when I post a new video. Those of you who would like to join the Alpha community, to enjoy daily morning briefings and to get notifications when I enter into a trade, because I'm showing all of my live trades with losses and wins, go to alphafx.eu and become part of the family. Thank you so much for watching today's forecast. Let me know in the comment whether you're bullish or bearish on Nasdaq and gold, and see you next week. This is the AlphaFX.